In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Extreme channel. Today we're looking at Hal Jordan. That's right, from the DC Universe, this is the Green Lantern. So this is a custom statue. That means it was a private unlicensed commission. They only made 60. Warner Brothers, who owns DC, did not approve of this statue, but I approve. So we're going to do an in-depth review of this statue. He's joining my Justice League line. I'm really excited about that. If you want to see what he looks like next to a bunch of other 1/4 scale Justice League characters, check out the Extreme channel's social media. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. The link for those is in the description below. But today we're going to focus on this guy. We're going to do an Extreme review. So I've always been a fan of Hal Jordan. Specifically, he is my favorite Green Lantern. There's a few different iterations of the Green Lantern. And I purchased this because I've been waiting for the perfect 1/4 scale Hal Jordan Green Lantern statue. Now, I still don't think this is it, but I think this is the best that the market offers. Because I really wanted something with a cool construct, because that's what's so cool about Green Lantern. They can use their will to pretty much create anything, and they call that their construct, whether it's a tank or a huge fist like this. You know, he was portrayed by Ryan Reynolds, aka Deadpool, in this DC film right here, which I thought was mildly entertaining, but didn't really show the true Hal Jordan. But I think there's a lot of aspects to this, because Hal Jordan is truly a badass. Now, one of the other reasons I purchased this is I have this custom Sinestro, and I think they're going to look awesome next to each other. And if you don't know the history behind that, Sinestro was actually Hal Jordan's teacher, and then he became evil, hence the yellow. Because there's yellow lanterns, and I actually have a red lantern. This custom Atrocitus right here on order. So I plan to put all three of these next to each other, next to some of the other Justice League pieces. If you want to see cool stuff like that, make sure you've not only liked this video, but you've subscribed to the channel and hit that bell notification. But let's kick it off here, and there's some things I really like and some things I don't like. But first of all is the concept. And again, some things I like and some things I don't. Starting at the bottom, you have a museum-style base. I hate museum bases. It takes away from the character. I like to think that they're in a setting. With this black bottom part, you really can't see that. There's a little lantern logo on the front. It's black as well, so it kind of blends in. Now, the top is more of a museum conceptual base, but I like it. It shows the lantern symbol. Here you can see that it's lit up. There's some light up options we're going to look at during design. And there's also some type of rock or moon rock, so you assume he's in outer space somewhere. And he's in a museum pose, again, not my favorite. And he's standing there in almost a celebration pose. On the left hand, you have his lantern, where he gets his power from. Well, he recharges his ring, which is where he gets his power from. And with that, technically you could display it without, but again, we'll look at that more in design. And he's very buff, very bulky, and I love the outfit that he has on him. And again, kind of a victorious pose, or maybe he just punched a monster that was coming down. Maybe he's getting ready to power up. Maybe he's getting ready to fly off. He's created a construct out of his right arm. And again, this is an optional switch out display, but I really, really wanted an awesome construct, and I think this is the best one out there. This huge fist. He's about to kick some ass. He looks very serious, and it's a cool, cool concept. Now, without that huge green fist, I don't like the concept of this at all. So I'm really teetering whether this is a 3 out of 5 or a 4 out of 5. But we're going to go ahead and say 4 out of 5 because, again, I think people just fail to do an awesome Green Lantern construct. One I really did like was XM Studios' 1/6 scale right here, except I wanted the construct more translucent like it is actually on this statue right here. Plus, that only came in 1/6 scale, and I wanted a 1/4 scale. Now, let's look at the design of the piece, which also isn't without its flaws, but there's some cool stuff as well. But before we do that, here is the unboxing and assembly. One box for this guy, which I was very thankful of. Now, with customs, we can't talk about where it comes from, so I won't say anything about that, but it did come with a very cool art print. Well, I'll put that back in the box. Here is what was in the box. Black foam and straps. There were 2 layers. The first layer had Hal and a few of the switch-out options we're going to look at. And the second layer was just the base, as you can see right here. All right, so let's measure him. The circle base is about 14 and a half inches. And in my opinion, it takes up a little bit too much space. And he's just under 27 and a half inches tall with this fist. Without it, I can actually see his other fist kind of lit up under there. He's about 26 inches. So let's look at the switch out options. And I don't have a picture of it, but like I said, if you wanted to, you could display him without the lantern here. Actually, here's a picture of it, because I love you guys. Take a picture for you. And then here it is with the lantern. And as you can see, this does have a light up feature, and we'll look at some other light up features as well. Starting with the base, here it is not lit up, which it still looks good, not as good as it does lit up, you see right here. Now the right hand, you can have a normal hand with his ring. Now this ring does light up as well. Kind of hard to see because it's so small.
Hey, that's what she said.
And then here's the other hand that goes underneath the construct hand. And what you do is you light it up and it's more of a translucent. You can kind of see it right here. And then you just slide the big hand over it. No portrait switch outs, which I don't think there needs to be. Everything went together really well. On the base here, it's actually a ton of AAA batteries that light it up. You can see right here. Then the lantern and hands are the LR44 watch batteries. It is kind of inconvenient to turn the light up on and off, so I think that's a negative. The front is really easy. It's actually hidden right here. But the hand, and especially the lantern, a lot more difficult to turn on and off, so that's a negative. Plus their batteries, which will eventually run out. So because he's standing so wide, I wish they would have been able to reduce this footprint a little bit more. I mean, I like the green lantern symbol, but I think it's a little bit of a negative. So for design, light up feature is awesome, but again, it's hard to use. It's kind of just sitting on here, which worries me a little bit. So I think it's a 3 out of 5 on the design. Not bad, but nothing extraordinary. Now we're going to look at paint and sculpt. And one thing they did is they over-anatomize. He's too bulky. He's too bulky. You can already see it right there. I think that's a negative. I do know it was intentional, but now that I have it in hand, a little too much for my taste. But there's also some really good redeeming features. Check it out. Now I wanted to film it with the light up feature off because that's how you'll be seeing it most of the time, although the light up feature does add a ton to this. Museum black base down here. I'm glad they didn't make it too shiny like a J&D where it looks almost too museum-y. So it kind of blends in a little bit, but I'd much preferred if it was all of this rock that you see here. Looks good, a little bit of a plastic effect, a little bit of a moist effect, which I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I think the shading's good and the colors. The lantern symbol looks great too, and like I said, I really feel that this could be happening because he's summoning his power, so maybe the lantern symbol appears beneath him. So conceptually, it could make a lot of sense even if you weren't going for just, hey, this is a museum type statue. Now, the green on his outfit looks fantastic. It's a different color green than you have on the base, the lantern, even the fist. It's this shiny metallic green, and I really like that. I think it, both on his boots and his torso, it really pops, gives the statue a lot more even when the light up features are turned off. Then the rest of his costume has this small beady texture all over it. And it's almost a mix between black and blue. You can kind of see some of it reflecting off. Now the blue may be a direct result of all the green, but it's almost purple sometimes the way it looks. Now one thing I think is a huge miss is the bottom half of his body. The anatomy I do not like. His calf muscles are way too overemphasized. Tiny little butt cheeks. I mean, this guy never misses a leg day, and it doesn't look good, to be honest with you. I know it was intentional, but way too much muscles in the legs there. I mean, this guy doesn't even need the ring because he can just kick the shit out of you literally with those massive legs, and he could probably fly to another planet just by jumping. So I think that's way too much overdone in my opinion. The upper torso, a lot better. Still very bulky. Like, look at those triceps on the back. But it's more realistic, I think. You always have comic book characters in statue form that are really buff and trim. He's got his nice package going on there, but it looks tiny next to those giant John Cena type calves. There's a John Cena type ass too. Not that I study John Cena's ass, but it's definitely there. So I think the anatomy is a miss, specifically on the lower half of the body. The white on the glove looks good. It's not pure white, which I like. You can kind of see some blue colors reflecting off of it, or kind of the black from the costume. And I like the color they used on the lantern down here. It kind of gives it a little bit of an old effect, but still has that shine, so that was very smart. And then his portrait. Not a huge fan of the portrait, to be honest with you. To me, it doesn't look like Hal Jordan, but it is. I think the shading is decent. It's coming off really weird under this light. It doesn't look like this, not on camera. That yellow doesn't appear to be there. So I'm not sure what's bringing that up, but yeah, just his lips are too puckered. Not a fan of that. I do like the mask. The hair looks fantastic. Granted, not what you want on a statue. So really that color is really driving me nuts. I can't see it as much with my naked eye as it comes up on camera. Then the construct. The construct is awesome. Looks absolutely fantastic. That's exactly what I want. I want a translucent green that you can semi-see through. So that's absolutely perfect in my opinion. I'm so glad that none of this was broken. I really dig that. So again, bottom half of the torso, the anatomy's off. Portrait, just really not digging it. The colors, I don't know why they're appearing like that on the phone. I'm not going to grade them based on the phone. I'm going to grade them based off what they look like. But some pros and cons with the paint and the sculpt. Let's start with the sculpt. So again, I think the portrait could have been better. Those thighs are just absolutely killing me. So I think that's a negative. Man, he's just, yeah, his legs, not so good at all. I think the sculpt, to be fair, is a 3 out of 5. Yeah, there's just something about it that's really, really bugging me. Paint is done much better. Like I said, I wish a little lighter on the portrait. I think that's the only thing I would have fixed. But otherwise, paint's really, really good. So I give that a strong 4 out of 5 on the paint. Now let's talk about value. So they made 60 of these, and I bought it for $900 plus a couple $100 shipping. So that's a lot for a 1/4 scale character that doesn't have a ton going on. But honestly, that's kind of the going rate for a Green Lantern in the 1/4. There was another Salt and Pepper custom that was done. Prime 1 did one that's semi-popular years ago. So I think the value's fair on it. I think that the value's a 3 out of 5 as well. You'll probably get your money back, but probably not make a huge profit. But again, I did a video recently right here. Hopefully you're not buying to make a huge profit. Definitely check this video out because I talk about that a lot. Now, it does have the X factor. Is it a 5 out of 5 statue? This isn't my ultimate Green Lantern statue, but like I said, I think it's the best on the market for a 1/4 scale. I would have changed the anatomy, added some other construct options. I would love if he was like standing on a gun or the base was a gun, kind of like Tweeterhead's. So Tweeterhead had this 1/6. This is probably the best Green Lantern statue out there, but again, it's only in 1/6 scale. It's not in 1/4 scale. And we talk about scale, that's how big is it relative to a real life version. So 1/4 is 4 times smaller. So I don't think it has the X factor, but I think it's a solid 3 out of 5 statue. Again, I kind of bought it out of necessity to go with that Sinestro and the rest of the Justice League. What do you guys think? Throw your comments down below. What is a better 1/4 scale Green Lantern statue? Maybe I'm just unaware of it. You know, and if they ever relaunch him in the DC universe, then maybe we'll get more statues of him. But we'll see. In the meantime, let me know, because you could win a statue. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Please hit me a like. It just takes you really easy. You do that, it really helps the channel, and I really appreciate it. In the meantime, check out some of these other custom statues and other videos. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.